The tirade continues. The next on Swami's firing line. FM Jaitley has hit back at Subramanian Swamy. FM Jaitley has tweeted on Swamy's attack on top of finance ministry officials. Keep in mind, it was first Raghuram Rajan of the RBI, then Arvind Subramaniam just a day ago, the chief economic advisor, and now Shakti Kanta Das. Finance Minister Arun Jaitley has tweeted and on Swamy's attack on top of Finmin officials. We are getting more details on that, and we do have our chief editor news, Supriya Srinath, joining us in just a bit from New Delhi with more on that. But for now, it's Subramanian Swamy all over, attacking just about everybody from Raghuram Rajan to Arvind Subramaniam to now Shakti Kanta Das. He has alleged that Shakti Kanta Das helped former finance minister P. Chidambaram swallow prime real estate. That is the latest salvo coming in from Subramanian Swamy, even as he continues his tirade against chief economic advisor Arvind Subramaniam. But for now, FM Jaitley, even on the day when Subramanian Swamy attacked chief economic advisor Arvind Subramaniam, finance minister Arun Jaitley did make it clear that there's absolutely no question about the credentials of Arvind Subramaniam and that the government continues to back him fully. But for now, FM said that unfair and false attack on disciplined civil servant in finance ministry. This is finance minister Arun Jaitley hitting out against Subramanian Swamy, who is a member of parliament from the BJP in the upper house, that is the Rajya Sabha. So for now, it is finance minister Arun Jaitley backing a Department of Economic Affairs Secretary Shakti Kanta Das and chief economic advisor Arvind Subramaniam, and hitting out against Swamy. In fact, he has tweeted about it as well on Swamy's attack on across the board top Finmin officials. That is a big breaking story as we speak. We are getting more details on that. But for now, he has said that it is an unfair attack on a civil servant. And we do have Supriya Srinath, our chief editor news, joining us on the phone line from New Delhi. Supriya, if you can hear me, this is FM Arun Jaitley backing Subramanian Swamy, hitting out against Subramanian Swamy, backing top finance ministry officials, saying that it is unfair to attack on civil servant. Supriya.
Yes, Krishna, I think this is the most direct retort that has come in from the finance minister. He did not give a direct retort to Raghuram Rajan. It was a very, my government and the party backs Arvind Subramanian. But as far as the DA secretary is concerned, Shakti Kanta Das, it is the most direct retort. And he's traveling overseas, we know that. So he's obviously taken his time, he's thought through this. And this is a direct retort to Subramanian Swamy. So the gloves are really truly off between Subramanian Swamy on one side and Arun Jaitley on the other. And right now, of course, in the ring fence, you do have Shakti Kanta Das, India's Department of Economic Affairs Secretary. Remember, earlier this morning, Subramanian Swamy had tweeted about Shakti Kanta Das, essentially saying how he helped Chidambaram gobble some land, and he had made some nasty remarks about the DA secretary. He had also some days back said that there are about 29 odd bureaucrats whom he has material on, and he will make public. And obviously, this is no hidden secret that Shakti Kanta Das is one of them. In fact, there are some reports that do suggest that he had written to the Prime Minister's office against Shakti Kanta Das, and one of the reasons why he lost out in eventually becoming the finance secretary. So I think Arun Jaitley realizes that there is enough damage that Subramanian Swamy's unwarranted rant has done. It has claimed the position of the most credible economist in recent times, and that's Raghuram Rajan. It has made investors jittery about the positions of people like Arvind Subramanian, and he can hardly afford his bureaucracy to be now taken siege, to be now be under threat and attack, and which is why I think the gloves are truly off, and it's the most direct, the most sharp retort that has come in from Finance Minister Jaitley against Subramanian Swamy.
Supriya, all the while this has been happening, be it the Rexit or the attack on Arvind Subramaniam. By the time the attack on Arvind Subramaniam came around, it was spoken about that this attack was not on the chief economic advisor, but on FM Jaitley, but in an indirect fashion. Are we seeing that play out, but with the gloves off?
You know, we put our necks out yesterday and we said that this is actually an attack against Arun Jaitley.
Yes.
And if he's not going to defend himself, then who will at this stage? And his government needs to rein in Swamy and back him. And I think we're being proven right. Look at the pattern. First, it was Raghuram Rajan. And mind you, Raghuram Rajan is the man that only one person in the government dealt with, and that was Arun Jaitley. He did business with RBI and not the rest. So first it was Raghuram Rajan, then Arvind Subramanian, and now Shaktikanta Das. So people around the finance minister, people who are directly dealing with him, people who are responsible for the finance minister's performance are being attacked, are under threat. And so it is a very, very vivid pattern that we are seeing. And let's not fool ourselves by saying Shaktikanta Das is a subject matter of attack as far as Subramanian Swamy is concerned. It is the finance minister. And I also think at one level, yesterday in the press conference when Arun Jaitley said that this has happened more than once and discipline and constraints of my office, without saying it in so many words, when he said the discipline and constraints of my office do not always warrant the response that I would want to give, he almost told Subramanian Swamy, enough is enough and do not take my silence for granted. But I think the rein-in, I think the retort also has to come from a higher level. It has to come from the Prime Minister, it has to come from the PMO, because what is the sign that this is sending? That Subramanian Swamy has almost been rewarded by being brought into the Rajya Sabha. He is the most newly nominated BJP member. And look at the kind of attack that his own government is under from him. He may be a maverick for all we know and all we care, but, he's actually brought indiscipline and a lot of infighting within the BJP to fore.
Supriya, that's why I was trying to arrive at my next question. We've been asking this yesterday on the channel as well. Who is running the country? We had Mohandas Pai ask a straightforward question when we asked him on camera that who is running the country? Is Subramanian Swamy running the country or who is running the country? And as you're rightly pointing out, nothing from the PMO, nothing from the PM so far on all the goings on over the last 5 days or so.
Oh, absolutely. And I think it's a very valid point that the Prime Minister, it's a very valid point that Indian industry and Indian investors are making at this stage, that who is in charge. I mean, forget about running the country, but who is in charge? Is Subramanian Swamy in charge? Is Narendra Modi in charge? Because, this is the question that needs to be answered. I mean, all this criticism is coming in all right. I mean, we all know, and it's an open secret, that's how New Delhi politics is, that Subramanian Swamy was actually brought into the Rajya Sabha to rein in people like Ahmed Patel, to attack the Gandhis. I mean, it is an open secret that the Gandhis and Narendra Modi are on very bitter terms. So the idea really was to attack them. But who is under attack? Modi's own government, Modi's own people, and more than anybody else, his chief lieutenant, Arun Jaitley right now. I mean, the finance minister is under attack. And I think if even now the PM or the PMO is not going to make statements and talk, then I wonder when will they do that. The irony of this entire situation, though, is that you have the finance minister and the prime minister both traveling overseas. So I wonder if there is going to be a clarification or any such statement that will be issued, and in the meantime, damage will be done. Because if Subramanian Swamy is really serious about exposing the 29 bureaucrats that he claims he has material on and wants to expose, then remember one thing: we are going to see a policy paralysis like never before, a policy paralysis of sorts, because which bureaucrat, honestly speaking, would want to function when they are under this kind of threat, when they are under this kind of scrutiny? So I think Narendra Modi really needs to do damage control, and the damage control can only be done at his level. But for now, I think Arun Jaitley has had enough, and which is why he's put out this direct, very, very sharp retort.
Arun Jaitley has had enough. Supriya, I'm just going to go on a ledger and ask this question. There is that cabinet reshuffle that is, hanging as a Damocles sword as we speak. With all of this, does it mean that Arun Jaitley's position as a finance minister is under threat?
No, I don't think so. I think that's going to be a very simplistic conclusion that some people will perhaps be tempted to draw from this. Subramanian Swamy may have questioned the government's own track record of 2 years of economic growth and progress. But the fact is that Arun Jaitley enjoys a lot of political clout. He enjoys the Prime Minister's confidence. Murmurs in New Delhi and in corridors of power often keep saying how everybody's position is under threat and, how Arun Jaitley could be shifted out. There was this whole talk in corridors of power, and some reports also said how Raghuram Rajan may be brought in, but Raghuram Rajan had to give up his position. So I think that's a very simplistic conclusion to draw. I don't think the big four will be touched at all, because touching the big four sends out a very negative signal, something that the Prime Minister can really, really ill afford, A. And B, the economy may have not, been spectacular in the last 2 years, but enough and more has happened, and I don't think you can take credit away from where it is due. So Arun Jaitley is important in the scheme of things. He is responsible for at least some of the green shoots that we are seeing early on. I don't think his position is under threat at all. But yes, it is also an open secret, and Subramanian Swamy, in fact, has been on record to Outlook magazine in which he has said that he wants to be the finance minister. So he may be well gunning for the job, but a job, I don't think that's open for grabs right now.
Well, Supriya, that is a conclusion that almost all of us can draw, and that is not a simplistic one. That is a pretty straightforward one, that Subramanian Swamy might just want to be the finance minister of this country. But meanwhile, let's listen to what Arun Jaitley spoke in support of Arun Subramanian just yesterday.
Well, the government has full confidence in the Chief Economic Advisor, Mr. Arvind Subramanian. His advice to the government from time to time has been of great value. The party, of course, has said that they don't share Dr. Swamy's view. I would also add one more fact. From the point of view of discipline of Indian politicians, to what extent should we attack those, the discipline and constraints of whose offices prevent them from responding? And this has happened more than once.
जो सवाल था मैंने उठाया कि इन्होंने जो किया, उन्होंने जो बयान दिया वो अमेरिका को यूएस कांग्रेस को कहा था कि हिंदुस्तान की कमर तोड़ना चाहिए, तभी व्यापार में हमें, और ख़ास तौर पर वो ड्रग का, वो फाइजर कंपनी का रिसर्च इंस्टीट्यूट में काम करते थे तो उनकी वकालत कर रहा था। अब सरकार ये सब जानते हुए उसको बनाया तो फिर मैं क्या कर सकता हूँ? अब जेटली क्या बोले नहीं बोले इससे मुझे क्या लेना देना नहीं है। मुझे पार्टी के अध्यक्ष से मैं बात कर सकता हूँ, प्रधानमंत्री से बात कर सकता हूँ।
कब कर रहे हैं फिर सर पार्टी अध्यक्ष से प्रधानमंत्री से बात?
जब जरूरत पड़ेगी, अभी तो कोई जरूरत नहीं पड़ी ना। हमारी बात कह दी मैंने और मुझे बताया गया कि ये सारे चीज़ पहले से पता था, तो फिर मैंने कहा फिर आपने ये सब सोच करके किया तो फिर और उसको माफ कर दिया तो फिर मुझे कोई आपत्ति नहीं।
क्योंकि पहले आपने आरबीआई गवर्नर के बारे में कहा, हालांकि उन्होंने फिर बाद में
वो ठीक है, अब पुरानी बात क्यों, वो छुट्टी होकर चले गए, अब तुम लोग ऐसे ही रामायण की कथा।
Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/etnow and don't forget to click the like button. You can also follow us on Twitter at etnowlive. To stay updated with all our programming, hit the subscribe button on our YouTube channel by logging on to youtube.com/user/etnow.